They have a much better roster this year.
Makes sense roster. Because they got rid of Horford, who was a bit of like a dud.
It just didn't fit. It was never going to work. Let's have a look at the Philadelphia 76ers, who this offseason decided to bring in a new coach.
Right.
They have made a couple of roster changes, a couple of trades. They kind of hit a quick refresh on last season's offseason and went, oh, we made a mistake, and quickly changed a couple of things around and were like, that never happened, and swept last year under the rug. But getting rid of Brett Brown has to be the best thing that could have happened for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
But then they got Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is an upgrade over Brett Brown for 100%. Sure. I don't like Doc Rivers in general as the coach. He's not my favorite head coach in the league. He has a good track record of like winning games.
He's got a really good track record. He's only missed the final 5 times in 21 years.
You mean the playoffs?
The playoffs.
Yeah, sorry, that's all right.
Not finals. Sorry.
But
playoffs.
His run with the Clippers has a lot of spottiness on it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's by all accounts, he's a good coach, like a player's coach. He's for his players. And if that works in Philly, good for him. There's a lot of comments that have come up recently from Paul George. We can touch on this next episode a bit.
Yeah.
About how he didn't like the way he was used.
Yeah.
Paul George didn't.
Interesting. I found that
super interesting. That's an episode of All the Smoke that hasn't come out yet. That's December 10th.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, yeah. So like Doc Rivers has his fans, he has his detractors. I'm not the biggest fan, but I think it's an improvement because Brett Brown, him as the head coach is a bit played out. They needed to shake it up. They got Daryl Morey as the president of basketball operations.
I like that.
Yes. He's one of the best basketball minds out.
Yeah.
And the thing that everyone gets mixed up, I think, I just want to quickly bring this up, is they bring in Morey and everyone goes, how is he's going to trade Simmons because he can't shoot. Everyone thinks Morey is after only shooting. He's after making the best of the players that he has and having 2 stars.
Yeah.
So he's said that on the record. He used to have Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady. And then he had Harden and Howard, which kind of didn't work out. Harden Paul, Harden Westbrook. So he's got the 2 stars and he makes it work.
Yeah.
Whether that wins a championship every year, it depends on the season, but he's a great pickup for them. He's going to make the most of the roster. If anybody can do it, it's Daryl.
I like the look of the potential starting 5 for floor spacing.
Okay.
I think that's something that they have really struggled with the last couple of seasons. Putting the right guys around Ben is super important. Kind of a bit like Giannis, very similar to Giannis and similar to, Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler in Miami. You've got a bunch of different guys on the roster now that can actually shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And also, if they need the ball in their hands, they've got that now too with Seth Curry, who can play that backup point guard role for them.
Yeah.
Which is a huge upgrade on anyone that they could have added.
Well, they were running a lot of Shake Milton last year, a bit, who I really like, actually.
Well, Doc has already come out and said that Shake will be their 6th man.
Okay.
So he's going to play bigger minutes this year.
Because I was going to say, I can see your starting lineup. It has Furkan Korkmaz in it.
Yes.
Danny Green is probably starting.
You're probably right.
That's who I would have.
I had Korkmaz because of the comments that Doc Rivers made last week.
Okay.
He said that Korkmaz was going to be a big part of this roster.
Oh.
So I'm assuming that means he could be starting, but it also could mean he's just going to have a big bench role. So my potential starting 5 would be Seth Curry, Korkmaz, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid.
Okay. I mean, it's mostly, that's, if it's not that, it'll just be Danny Green differently.
Yeah, it'll just be Danny. And that's the other guy that I had in there just as he'll be there.
He's a great pickup.
Yeah, he is. He's a 3-and-D guy, and that's what they needed.
Consummate professional.
Danny Green copped a lot of flack this offseason for his role on that
Lakers
championship Lakers.
Well, he
team.
got death threats for missing the shot in Game 5,
Yeah.
which is not surprising, but you don't like to see that.
No, man.
It's just a basketball game.
Basketball, but he did so much throughout the year for that team. And you can't just look at the way he's shooting the ball as his impact. He's one of the best defenders in the league.
Intangibles type of guy
He's
to me.
An incredible player. I'd take him any day of the week.
Yeah.
So he's a great pickup for the 76ers and a great locker room guy for them.
Exactly.
He's now been on 3 championship rosters.
That's exactly right.
That says something, doesn't it?
It does. He's, by all accounts, I think he was one of the best plus-minus guys for many years as well. I know you like that stat. If you looked him up, I'm sure he's up there.
Love plus-minus.
And great three-point shooter if he's not on the Lakers. He was a sniper with the Raptors in the regular season.
Yeah.
He fell off a bit in the playoffs, but nonetheless, good pickup from them. So they also... they still obviously have Matisse Thybulle, who I like.
I like Matisse.
Again, he'll be a big piece.
If he can kind of correct that jump shot and start making more jump shots consistently, he's a great player.
His defense is outstanding.
Yeah, for a guy out of college, he was unbelievable last season. I seriously hope he commits to Australia too. I really
does he have nationality?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think his mum is Australian, or his dad.
Good for him.
One of his parents are Australian. So hopefully he commits to Australia because we need that kind of, defense on the team. But yeah, he's a very good player. Very good player. They have a much better roster this year.
Makes sense roster. Because they got rid of Horford, who was a bit of he was a bit of a dud.
It just didn't fit. It was never going to work. He's a guy that his whole career he's played the 5, and they bring him into Philly, and they're like, "Oh, here you can stand with the biggest center in the league and play the 4."
Yeah, there's not a lot of space there. Plus, you have Ben Simmons, who's noted not a great 3-point shooter or floor spacer.
He doesn't shoot threes.
No, that might be news to people, but I thought you knew that. Sorry,
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the thing I was going to say is funny about that. Al Horford for years was asking to play the 4 in Atlanta. He preferred to play the 4 because that's what he played in college next to Joakim Noah at Florida. And then he came to the NBA and he was kind of put into the 5 role because Atlanta played smaller. They had Josh Smith. And then he went to Boston. He was still a 5 there. He was outstanding in Boston to me.
Incredible.
And then he just didn't fit in Philly. And I'm glad that they got off that contract. I'm pulling for Philly because I'm a huge Simmons fan, and Embiid for that matter as well, is a great player. But it really depends on the chemistry of the team. If Morey can find more shooting, I think that's what he'll do. But just better players to fit with them. Morey must have been looking at it from afar going, what is this roster?
I don't know if there's many guys you can add to that roster that are better shooters than Seth Curry.
No doubt. Danny Green. Korkmaz is a great shooter.
Guys.
If you can get off Harris somehow, Morey would get a statue in Philly.
That's something I wanted to quickly talk about. Tobias Harris, the numbers that he put up for the Clippers with Doc Rivers as the coach
were good.
Incredible, man.
He was a borderline all-star.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was. He almost made the all-star game. I think he only just missed out. But his stats playing under Doc Rivers were amazing. If he can get that Tobias Harris back, then
good shape.
I don't see why they would need to move that contract. It's a big contract, but you're not going to let Tobias Harris leave for nothing. So
no,
it was kind of it wasn't much of a decision to make. They had to re-sign him, and they just went, "Oh, here you go."
It was a tough one. Yeah, it's the worst contract in the league by my estimation, just overall. Okay. Nothing against Tobias. Every time we do these contract things, it's not slander.
No,
it's not meant to be.
No.
But if you just look at the numbers versus the value, I mean, he's a good personality for the locker room and what have you, and he's a good player. But you paid him over $35 million a season.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It's tough to look at that roster and see that he's the highest paid player.
Yeah,
that's the hardest part.
Even with Simmons' extension, I believe he's still the hiest paid player.
He's paid more than Embiid too. So
definitely is. Yeah, Embiid's under 30.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the other thing that Doc Rivers has said that he wants to do is give Seth Curry free reign. Which I really like.
That's what happens when you marry the coach's daughter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good move.
He wants to keep him happy. So he's
him and her.
Yeah. Yeah. He's basically said that Seth Curry will run the point.
Right.
But, Ben Simmons will probably still have the ball in his hands more often than not.
Fair amount, yeah. He's a great point guard. Like I don't like the idea of positions as much anymore. You have the ball handlers,
you don't.
wings and bigs.
Yeah.
But Simmons and Curry is a great combo.
It is. It plays out a lot better than anything they've had before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see what kind of numbers Seth puts up. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. Comes with the last name.
Good blood.
Yeah. For some reason, they can all shoot. I have no idea how, what happened.
I know.
But they can just all shoot.
I'd love to see the science on that.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know what they're putting in the water at the Curry house. But yeah, he is a really good addition, and especially playing the point, I can see him putting up some career numbers playing in Philly.
But just playing off of the guys like Simmons and Embiid, if they can get more spacing as well, just for everybody involved, it should be beneficial. I just wanted to bring up Curry. I think he's led the league in 3-point percentage. Yeah, I mean, he's shooting 40 last 2 seasons, 45% from the 3-point line.
He didn't finish with the title for highest 3-point percentage. This offseason, it was Matt Thomas.
Matty Ice.
Yeah.
Raptors guy.
Yeah. He had the highest percentage in the league from 3, but he also didn't shoot as many threes.
I was going to say there has to be a cutoff point.
Yeah. So I think the other guy that was right up there was Duncan. So Duncan Robinson had 44 odd.
Yeah,
so,
he's a sniper.
Yeah. The other thing that worries me with Ben Simmons is his improvement from his rookie year. The numbers are the same from his rookie year to now.
He had an outstanding rookie year, and he kind of set the bar pretty high for himself, I think.
Does that concern you?
That his lack of improvement?
Yeah.
I mean, the shooting thing bothers me. I don't think we should force him to shoot. Necessarily. I think he does need to become a threat because that's just the way the league is. You're going to become a target in the playoffs if you can't shoot. And it's weird because we see him stroke threes sometimes just like in not in crunch time, in garbage minutes. Some of the preseason games, he's nailing threes. We see him in practice. It's not as ugly as a Michael Kidd-Gilchrist or something, or Sean Marion. He's got decent form. It's just a matter of confidence and getting him to shoot. That's the part of his game I'd love to see improve just even a little bit, as would everyone else. Yeah. Numbers wise, those will just come with the way the game is played. If you have a better team around you, I think you'll get good numbers. Like if you look up the numbers so when he plays with Embiid versus when Embiid was out, he was a triple-double threat every night. He ran the team. They were dominating teams, actually, when he was the main guy. But when Embiid comes back, things are a little bit different. Again, that was last season. They had Horford and what have you. But, yeah, I think he has a lot to do this season. Yeah. It's a big season for Ben.
I would like to see him take the challenge on of, actually putting up jump shots. If they don't fall, so be it.
So be it. Be a threat.
It's that kind of league. You just got to draw guys out of the paint. I think we've seen that with Marcus Smart at Boston. He came into the league with no jump shot.
Very poor jump shot.
And now you got to respect him. You can't leave him alone on the 3-point line, especially in the corner. You can't leave a guy like that in the corner. And that's something that Philly need for floor spacing, to open up the middle for Embiid a bit more. Mm-hmm. Because if Embiid's getting doubled all the time and they're just leaving Ben Simmons, then you're losing that threat. So I would question their ability to go to the finals with no 3-pointer from Ben Simmons. We've just seen that with Giannis and the Bucks. Mm-hmm. Not having your main guy shoot threes means that, you can hang off him and wait.
The strategy is to just hang off him and be like everyone else, or actually you make the shot. If you don't, we win.
Yeah.
Or force someone else to beat us. If you're Giannis, that type of thing. Just like,
they just let him come downhill, pack the paint, and
same thing can happen with Simmons.
Either you go to the rim, which is going to be impossible for you, or you kick it out and make someone else make a shot, or you take the jump shot. And he took the jump shot more often than not, and it wasn't falling.
I know.
So, you've got to take that jump shot to make teams respect you.
Absolutely. Fake it till you make it, Ben.
Exactly.
You'll make it eventually.
Come on, Ben.
We're pulling for you. I love Benson. I just want to say, categorically stating, love his game. Amazing defensive player.
Transitionally incredible.
Oh man, one of the best in the league. Top 5. Gives effort every game.
Yeah.
It's just the shooting stands out for obvious reasons, but he'll get there.
And I think it's just from the playoffs and finals point of view is, how quick are you going to be able to get there? And are we able to see it this season?
Mm-hmm.
Especially because he's in his 4th year playing in the league, 5th year in the NBA, but 4th year in the league. You kind of want to see those kinds of things come along a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Philly fans would be happy if he just took 1 3 game. Like, just take one. Just put it up.
They cheer for him every time he's standing at the 3-point line.
I know.
Like, shoot, bro.
Yeah. I think they just want him to put up the shot. It's either going to fall or it's not. Like any other shot you take in the game,
Yeah.
I don't see how it's any different.
I suppose he's just overthinking it.
Yeah, he might be. At this point, it's been a bugaboo for the last 3 years. So, come on, Benny.
We got you.
Yeah.